assistant Loyola head coach to his left, so that's always nice, always comforting.
A couple of guys with miles on them.
Yes.
Johnny Dawkins says he's changed a lot as a coach. He's learned a lot in his first year. He's got an outstanding recruiting class coming in. And this team so far, as we said, overachieving.
You got Johnny Dawkins, a player of the year. Travis Ford, a Southeast Regional MVP back in '93 for Kentucky. So two pretty good guards sitting on the benches for both teams.
And we're going to get a foul called on Obi Manello.
And this is one thing Travis Ford talked about, that, they're going to be physical with Landry Fields. There's this perception that Travis Ford didn't say this. I'm saying this of your West Coast ball players. Let's see how tough you are.
Green with a good look, and he sticks it.
Jeremy Green says, I'm from Austin, Texas, so that doesn't apply to me. I'm impervious to all that. I'm from Texas. It'll be a tough matchup for
Penn lost the ball, managed to control it. That's Marshall Moses. 10 of 11 in his last game against Arkansas Pine Bluff. One and done.
And I'm kind of being facetious about the whole testing thing, but it's going to be interesting. Oklahoma State's going to tough the toughest of Stanford.
Get away with this one, and Anderson taking it to the basket and reaching foul on Jarrett Mann.
And Anderson, he relishes these kinds of matchups. Getting into the body of Landry Fields, the top offensive players from each team going at it mano-a-mano, and that's just great man-to-man defense. Watching them practice, Oklahoma State, a lot of times teams will back off on that denial about 2 or 3 feet to protect against penetration. Oklahoma State, they want to make contact, forearm contact with that offensive player at all times.
I think it's going to be a great matchup to watch all night long, Fields and Anderson. And I suspect they'll both get theirs.
And you're right, and it's going to be who else steps up. For Oklahoma State, how does Ray Penn contribute offensively, and Keaton Page, what kind of game does he have shooting the basketball?
Little end-to-end pressure here by the Cowboys. Mann will bring it across.
And a lot of size for Stanford in the backcourt. A little miscommunication. Turnover, Jarrett Mann.
Second turnover for the Cardinals.
And both teams do a great job taking care of the basketball. Stanford about 11 turnovers a game. Oklahoma State slightly more than 11.
Here's Anderson working on Fields, just a pull-up J, in and out. Second chance, put up and missed by Moses. And finally, going to get a foul on Oak State.
And Marshall Moses, an undersized center at 6 feet 6 inches tall, but he has really come on. Had a terrific game this last time out. Double-double for the big guy. But, he's a guy that talked about last year coming in here as a sophomore, and how, he pouted, he was immature, and then, he wasn't getting the kind of time he wanted, and just had to sit down and have kind of a talk with his coach and get himself pumped up.
Green, long three, a contested three. Moses with a rebound. And a quick outlet, stepping in front was Zimmermann, but coming back with it is Anderson. Spot up Page, misses a tray, and Landry Fields with a rebound.
Yeah, that's the thing that most impresses me about Landry Fields, his ability to go and get rebounds. I love a small forward who's not afraid to get in there. 13 rebounds against Kentucky, averaging 8 rebounds a game. And you got 7-footers that don't get you 13 rebounds over 3 games.
Third turnover for the Cardinal. Here's Anderson, 1-on-3, and a kick out for Page.
Very uncharacteristic of both teams right now, just kind of playing a little bit too fast, trying to do a little too much in this feeling out process in the early stages of this game.
Here's Fields. Fields puts it on the floor, drives on Moses. Now kick out for Green. 1 for 3 for Green, and Manello to the boards.
One thing that Travis Ford did, he ran a second defender, Jarrett Mann, get the basketball out of his hands. Now you force one of these bigs, Trotter or the other big, to become like a ball handler, facilitator. Zimmermann, a role that they're not accustomed to.
Penn with a good look, couldn't get it to go, and the Cowboys 0 for 5 from the field early on.
Much better shooting team than they're showing, obviously, early on, about 46% for the season.
Stanford playing only its second game after a break for finals. Zimmermann chased down that ball, tried to drop it down on the post, and it's knocked out of bounds by the Cowboys. Roger Franklin going to come into the Cowboys lineup now. Travis Ford with the first substitution of the game. He's kind of the energizer bunny.
I like him. I watched him yesterday. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Tony Allen without the offensive explosion of a Tony Allen, but hard hat kind of guy. Plays tough defense.
But Fields that time got Moses in the air. Waited for him to come down. Stuck it.
The key for Landry Fields, he's matched up against James Anderson, staying out of foul trouble. He's averaging not committing his first foul this season until 14 minutes are left in the game.
One step too many for Anderson. No, they're calling for foul.
Yeah, there's a little pick-the-picker action. Nice job, Landry Fields. You set a pick. All of a sudden, Anderson has got to help out. Right there, Marshall Moses, the big guy, has to switch out on Landry Fields. He is not accustomed to having to play that kind of defense out on the perimeter against this quality of an opponent. There we go again. Two defenders running at the point guard for Stanford, getting the ball out of his hands. And
Zimmermann all the way.
Zimmermann, hey!
I think it was your conversation with him that made the difference. You turned him into an offensive machine.
Days in Oostburg, Wisconsin. Just some old Oostburg memories.
You know that town.
Yes, yes. About 40 miles away from Milwaukee, where I played 7 years.
You would know that town.
Some old Oostburg memories.
Meantime, at the other end, first bucket for the Cowboys. Also, Moses with his second foul, so they're going to have to get him out of the game. And he is out of the game now.
Ray Penn at 5'9". I talked about the big backcourt for Stanford with Green and Mann. You know, both guys go about 6'4", 6'5". But conversely, I mean, Ray Penn about 5'9", but he's a tough one out of Houston, Texas. He gets up in your body. He doesn't back down from anybody. A very offensive-minded point guard.
Fourth team foul for the Cowboys. Fields down low. Nice pass, but he couldn't hang on to it. Penn comes away with it. Quick outlet to Gully. Gully to the basket. Well defended by Green. Got a hand on it, but count the basket coming back and one by Matt Pilgrim.
Nice job running the floor by Matt Pilgrim. Transfer from Hampton University by way of Kentucky. Did a nice job just running the floor. And there are certain guys that you play with. Quentin Buckner with the Milwaukee Bucks is one that when they're going full speed for a layup, it's like an automatic 2 points. If you just run hard enough and play the carom off the backboard.
And Pilgrim converts a three-point play. And the Cowboys take the lead.
There's again, they're over Manello.
Well played.
Great pressure in the backcourt. A lot of teams refer to it as like a Laker red, other different names to that, but you send two defenders as Ray Penn is not allowing Jared Mann and making it difficult for him to catch the basketball. Great defense by Oklahoma State.
Yeah, clearly bothering the Cardinals. This time it's Mann posting up. A little soft off the glass, and the rebound knocked out of bounds by the Cowboys. Stanford will maintain possession. Oklahoma State on a 7-0 run. They lead it 9-6, 15-15. About how much that pressure defensively that Oklahoma State's putting on is bothering Stanford. Jarrett Mann averaging only 2.5 turnovers a game, already 3 in this ball game.
Well, that's what a guy like a Ray Penn will do for you, Fred Gully. I mean, two little quick guards up in your body. And also they're sending that double team in the backcourt.
Landry Fields following. Oh. Tough shot, knocks it down.
Ow. That's a big boy shot.
Yeah, that's not a gimme.
That's a grown man shot. And he's got a smaller defender in Fred Gully defending Gully at 6'2". So Landry Fields is going to show Travis Ford that is a major mistake. You have underestimated me, sir.
Listen, Manello puts it on the floor, drives on Zimmermann off the window. No, follow Pilgrim.
But once again, rebounding has been a problem for Stanford this year. They've been out-rebounded, about 2 or 3 rebounds a game, so they've got to do a much better job. Oklahoma State crashing the boards with 4 rebounders every shot attempt.
Green guarded by the smaller Page. And got a little too much of it.
But that's how Travis Ford teaches his small guards to play defense when they're going against a 6'4" shooting guard like a Jeremy Green. Get up in his body, get to the spot first, play him physical, play him tough. So he didn't mind that foul, and he is in the ear of Mark Reichley, the official, kind of letting him know and hoping that the official will back off and let his team play their familiar aggressive style of defense.
James Anderson back in the game, and a travel call against Jarrett Mann. 6th Stanford turnover, very uncharacteristic.
Well, Jarrett Mann leads the Pac 10 in assists, almost 6 assists a game, but he wasn't the guy penciled in to be the starter at the point guard position this year. That's an area that they thought would be that would cause them some problems. Now, Drew Schiller, transfer, comes in, senior shooter extraordinaire. He's got to hold down the point guard spot, and especially trying to withstand this full court pressure that Oklahoma State's throwing at him.
This is Gully bringing the ball across. Fred Gully, another freshman. Pilgrim, who has contributed off the bench, driving on Trotter. Pull up. Pilgrim has 7.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Pilgrim started out at Hampton, but was good enough for Billy Gillespie to give him a look at Kentucky. Went to Kentucky, didn't play, set out a transfer year. And when that situation changed, he moved on to Oklahoma State and petitioned and got this year where he didn't have to sit out again. So, I mean, my point is, he's good. You know, he's good.
That's a good way to put it. Zimmermann got a man in the air, puts it on the floor, and travel.
And Oklahoma State's activity defensively is causing major problems, and their athleticism, their quickness beating Stanford to the spot. Andrew Zimmermann, he's a catch-and-shoot guy. There's a catch, there's a shoot, but there's a contest. And he does something a little bit uncharacteristic for him, trying to create off the dribble.
Cowboys with the ball on an 11-2 run. They lead it by 5. Pilgrim drives on Trotter.
That's good defense.
Yeah. Zimmermann stepping in, taking the charge.
And we got the new rule. You can't wear the rim as a halo, as an old coach of mine, John Killer, used to say when I was with the Milwaukee Bucks. You've got to be away from the rim, but the defender for Stanford did a nice job clearing himself. I think it was Zimmermann clearing himself from the rim, giving up the body, picking up the charge.
For you, it's a halo. For me, it's another planet. Schiller worked on by Page.
Good defense, Page, making a pest of himself, all up in his body.
Andrew Field spin move on Anderson. What a beauty.
Well, I was going to say, you know, that's what Stanford needs to do offensively, because it's obvious that they're having a hard time creating shots with the intense man-to-man pressure of Oklahoma State. Landry Fields can do that. He has a great first step and a nice ability to put it on the floor and create his own shot.
Anderson pull up Jay from 3, won't go. Loose ball on the rebound. Gully fights for it with Trotter, and we're going to get a held ball, and the possession arrow is going to be Oak State.
Here's Landry Fields right here. A little ISO action. Go left, spin back. Nice job cutting him off by James Anderson. But when you've got the skills to read and react as an offensive player, you don't mind being cut off because you know you got options.
I'll tell you, the improvement in Landry Fields is really, really mind-boggling, even just in the last year.
Yeah. And the main thing, he talked about confidence. I thought he was going to have a breakout season last year, but kind of got caught in the mix with the seniors, Lawrence Hill and Anthony Good, so he didn't get a lot of shots up, still averaged 13 a game. That's a nice move.
Yeah, a little fall there by Franklin.
Roger Franklin, a freshman, Duncanville, Texas. But here's that full court pressure that has been bothersome. Now you got a big trying to make a play. Let's see what Trotter has.
Got away with an extra step, took it all the way to the basket, rejected by Pilgrim.
See, that's what you want. You had your Pilgrim just kind of laying in wait.
At Penn, 1-on-3 and a kick out for Gully, and the three-point shot won't go, and a push underneath.
So you put guys into positions that they're not accustomed to, and that's not a bad decision by Trotter. But you know, you get the ball out of the ball handler's hands, Drew Schiller in this case, and now guys have to make. Not almost, if I were Johnny Dawkins, would bring Landry Fields more into the backcourt and allow him to be the guy to push it up the floor, because he's a much more sure offensive option. If the drive is not there, he can shoot the jumper. If he's double teamed, he can pass the basketball.
On a 7th team foul on Oak State, that means Stanford will get a shooting situation for the remaining 13 minutes and 11 seconds of this half. So here's your guy from Oosterburg.
From Oosterburg, Wisconsin, about 40 miles north of Milwaukee. It's been a long time since I've been there. He's like, yeah, it's right on the lake. I'm like, which lake? He's like, Lake Michigan. I'm like, oh, my bad.
Oh, that lake.
Oh, that one, that big lake. That real big lake. Okay. But there's a lot of lakes in Wisconsin. So I didn't know he was talking about Lake Mequon or I can't name any other one than that. But no, he started out at Santa Clara and was recruited by Dick Davey. Never played for Dick Davey, but was there. And then they had the coaching change, and then Kerry Keating took over. And a bunch of guys transferred. He was one of them. And he said he felt a lot more comfortable just kind of hanging out with Dick Davey, being around Dick Davey. He was the guy that recruited him for college.
Well, Dick Davey, one of the great X's and O's guys in college basketball.
And Stanford a little zone, almost a 1-2-2, and Landry Fields as the point man because of his length, being able to kind of bother the passers out top in this zone, get a deflection, maybe lead to a steal.
And Anderson simply steps up, knocks down a 3.
And I like what James Anderson is doing. I mean, he's concentrating on his defense. He's not forcing a lot of shots. He's just kind of allowing the game to come to him. And then there you got Landry Fields as the playmaker, you know, the point forward on the floor, getting the ball out of Schiller's hands, don't get one in the big guy's hands.
Yeah, Landry's drawing a lot of attention, and he still knocks it down off the baseline.
those are tough shots. I mean, he's knocking down shots, getting to the spot, jumping over defenders.
He's 4 for 4 so far in this game. Green with the rebound off the miss.
Yeah, a little bit of a force by James Anderson on that play. I talked about the game. Oh, nice job. Nice job. Gully just a little too aggressive, but Green turned his head. He went in there and almost got the steal. But here's Anderson looking for the ball against the zone. They get it to him. They do a nice job of taking out Schiller. And then at the other end, I mean, this is like under extreme defensive duress. There's 2 orange-shirted Cowboys in the area, but doesn't bother Landry Fields, who's got great elevation on the jump shot.
I don't think he's had an uncontested shot, has he?
But with that kind of elevation, it doesn't matter. I mean,
that's true.
I mean, you almost feel, as a shooter, you almost feel better when you got a defender around you to contest the shot, because you know you're going to elevate enough to get to jump out of the defensive pad during the summers from the time he was 10 on, and he would take him right to the health club, 24-hour fitness club, and beat him up on the basketball court. And then play against the old heads out there, you know.
That's a tough game there.
Old heads, but James Anderson credits that with his toughness and with his skill development.
No road games at that place.
Nope.
Basket was up and good by Franklin.
Yeah, probably easier playing over at San Quentin than playing with some of those dudes.
Yeah.
But Drew Schiller's got to run the point guard spot. He is the ball handler. They're taking Jared Mann off the basketball because of the pressure that he's experiencing on the floor. This is just a nice job. Oklahoma State all up in Stafford's grill, Barry.
And we'll take a timeout. 28-18, 10-point lead for a building. They led by 16 at the half and never looked back. Great women's hoops.
Yeah, 2 pretty decent coaches.
I'll say.
Running those teams.
2 coaches who could coach anywhere at any level. I believe that. So Stanford with the ball down 10 here, and Oklahoma State really disturbing the Cardinal defensively. Page coming out to guard Drew Schiller. 5 on the shot clock. The double clutch in the lane, and the miss by Harris, the freshman, on for the first time, and Gully comes away with it to the Cowboys.
Again, you're playing right into Oklahoma State's hands. You know, you got the wrong guy or the right guy for Oklahoma State taking that shot. Keep the ball away from Landry Fields as much as possible.
Well, what a nice delivery by Penn, but Franklin couldn't do anything with it. Double dribble.
Johnny Dawkins just struggling to find somebody who can advance the basketball. Gabriel Harris, a freshman out of Birmingham, Alabama, is elected, but it's a tough position late here in the first half. Cole off the bench.
That shot was blocked.
Red Billy got all up in Jeremy Green, and that's not easy to do as high as Green elevates.
Fields takes that rebound away from Harris. Now Fields right around Manella, leaves this time for Zimmermann. Zimmermann tried to get it up over Franklin and banged it off the side of the basket.
And, you know, Landry Fields, great idea. Nothing wrong with that play, but he's got to be a little bit more aggressive. Had a great move going toward the middle. That's a nice little floater, a little jump hook right there, about 5 feet. Unfortunately for him, Zimmermann made the catch and drew the foul. But you know, he's got to be the guy to carry this team to victory if it's going to happen. He's done his work so far, but he can be even more aggressive out here the way Oklahoma State is playing defensively.
Anderson going to come back for Oklahoma State. Travis Ford playing a lot of bodies so far in this game, and he's getting good production off his bench. 11 points off the bench for Oak State so far.
Yeah, I tell you, they need to give their strength and conditioning guy a raise, because these dudes are buff. I mean, all of them coming here look like Popeye. just exploding. Look at Moses, just exploding out of those jerseys.
It's the orange uniforms.
Yep.
There's Anderson again. He got a man in the air. Now Penn open 3. Good job.
Drew, great job. Drew Schiller. Those things go unnoticed. I'm glad you picked that up, the little guy.
Zimmermann off the window, short. The rebound down to Anderson.
Now you need to have a talk with your big guy, Andrew Zimmermann, and let Zim just kind of chill out a little bit. Don't no more with the quick shots. There's a reason why you're open.
Oak State's going to maintain possession here. Into the lineup now for the Stanford Cardinal.
But if you're Stanford, you don't want to take a shot until Landry Fields at least has a chance to touch the basketball during the possession.
Franklin open 3. It's a 2.
Yeah, we saw him yesterday shooting lights out. He got a chance, as a scout team dream to play Landry Fields on the scout team. So he had the complete green light, and he did some nice things out there offensively.
This time Zimmermann way away from the basket. A reach-in foul going to be called on Roger Franklin.
Yeah, and Travis Ford, he's on the sideline saying why. You got a big guy trying to blow by you. You've got the advantage speed-wise, quickness-wise. You can back off just a little bit and not allow that to happen. Don't commit that foul.
Stanford going to the line a lot, but not being successful.
They're 3 for 7 so far on their free throws. They were in the penalty with about 11, 12 minutes to go in the half, maybe longer. Was that an intense practice that Travis Ford conducted yesterday or what, man?
Well, we were talking about this. Of course, he's a disciple of Rick Pitino, who worked his players harder than anybody I've ever seen. And that's what we saw yesterday.
You talk about Rick Pitino, he'd tape you up on game days, huh?
Yeah, he does, yeah.
It wasn't a shoot around, it was a run around.
They played a game on game day. Good recognition that time on the switch, but Franklin comes up short, missed everything. Field yanks it out of the air.
Yeah, nice job by Zimmermann to hedge and recover, but that's not the shot you want if you're Travis Ford. You see Stanford, everything's happening on that right side of the floor. You got 3 guys over there, kind of a UCLA high post offense. Landry Fields on the weak side. You got to swing the ball back around to that weak side and give him a chance to take a look. We've already seen how unselfish of a player he is. He's not going to force things too much to the detriment of your basketball team, but you got to give him as many touches as you possibly can. Here he is.
This time drops it down up on the high post now for Zimmermann. Now Field for 3. Fields misses and Penn yanks it out of the air. And again, a second chance. Manello can't get it to go. Ball still loose, bounces around. Finally getting on the ground is Harris to control it for the Cardinals.
Nice job, Gabriel Harris, the freshman. Doing a decent job kind of holding his own, not turning the ball over.
Drew Schiller open 3 and can't get the roll. The rebound to Anderson. Anderson going all the way to the basket. Counted and one. Big time play by a big time player.
Yeah, that's a nice job. Left-handed dribble. One of those right-handed guys at his size that loves to go left, a little in and out move to get by his defender. And Zimmermann just didn't do a good job of getting set on that play.
Anderson converts the three-point play, and he is absolutely playing up to his billing.
Yeah, and again, I think I've been impressed with, he hasn't really forced a lot out here, just has really done a nice job allowing the game to come to him. He's had his turn with the Landry Fields, done a decent job. Now he's playing the 5 spot, so he's got the rebound and do a good job boxing out Andrew Zimmermann on the inside. But the way Stanford plays, it's not like a true 5 defensively in there battling against some big behemoth on the inside.
That's true.
So you can get away with it. Spacing, bad spacing by Schiller. Brought his defender, Keaton Page, over into the area, almost a steal.
And man, the pull-up, and he missed everything. Gully with the rebound. Stanford just not shooting the ball well. Fields is, but nobody else is. Penn coming off the baseline, kick out. Very good ball movement here by Oklahoma State. Manello for 3. All but the finish.
Yeah, and you can live with that because, as you mentioned, Barry, just great job passing around the perimeter. Now, this is what I like to see. Let Landry Fields keep the ball in his hands as much as possible.
Stanford's now missed its last 8 shots. Landry Fields 5 of 7, but the rest of the team just 3 of 14. Zimmermann for 3 comes up short. Rebound to Penn. Penn avoids a collision, leaves it for Manello. Now Anderson from the corner, a little long. Fields with the rebound. And man to the basket. Good look again by Landry Fields.
Again, keep the ball in Landry Fields' hands and let him kind of change positions if he's got a turnover against Oklahoma State.
7th Oklahoma State turnover. So the Cardinal battling. Oklahoma State, though, seemingly in command, but yet a 10-point ball game. 33-23 Cowboys. In the half, I suspect that he will stay seated for the remainder of the half.
A lot of college coaches don't allow their team to do things outside of the personnel. Nice offensive execution again for Stanford on the inbounds play.
Zimmermann with 8 points, helping his team stay in the fray here.
A little X maneuver by the bigs.
And a travel. Watch it, here it is.
Zimmermann coming right down here. Little brush screen on the other side by Trotter to free him up. Just kind of running interference.
And those are free baskets.
I mean, the bigs, they work together. I mean, they know they're, that they're not going to put the spear of God into their opponents, but as a combo, they've been a very effective tandem for the Stanford Cardinal.
Here's Green up top, Gully in his pocket. Green pulls the trigger anyway and scores. So Jeremy Green with 7 and a timeout called by Travis Ford with 46 ticks remaining in the half. And the Cardinal gets to within 5.
Good resilience by the Stanford Cardinal. Looked like this game was about to get away from them because of plays like this by James Anderson, the leading scorer in the Big 12 Conference, about 20 a game. As you can see, exemplified in those 2 off-balance plays he makes. But Landry Fields showing that he's got some skills also on the West Coast, as he does a nice job catch and finish, tough contested jumpers, and done a tremendous job rebounding the basketball, Landry Fields.
I really have the feeling that Johnny Dawkins, when he looks at the numbers at the end of the first half, is going to say to himself, we shouldn't be in this, and we are. Only 5 of 12 at the free throw line, and just not taking care of the basketball.
And again, those are the things that this team is physical. They've got some tremendous athletes, but knocking down free throws and valuing each and every possession. Not that Stanford isn't valuing, because they're getting a lot of pressure and just have not responded to it well. I mean, the guy that's handled it best has been kind of the unheralded freshman Gabriel Harris from Birmingham, who hadn't played a lot of minutes, but he's done a pretty decent job. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of him in the second half.
Drew Schiller, too. He's been out there for a while.
Stanford back in that zone. Moving a 3-2, defending the perimeter type zone. And Drew's done a nice job either getting a rebound or just throwing his body in the way.
Tough guy. Drew Schiller, of course, 3-sport athlete in high school. Had his jersey retired in 3 sports by the time he graduated from Burlingame High School.
That's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I mean, not to play issue, especially for Stanford early on.
Foul situation, of course, for Oklahoma State. Anderson does have 14 points. Landry Fields doing what he has done all year long. He's got 10 to go with 8 rebounds. Zimmermann contributing with 8 points. Pilgrim 7 off the bench, but he's got 3 fouls. Stanford with the first possession of the second half. They finished the first half on a 9-2 run. Fields missed the jam, and I think Moses got a hand on that ball.
And Landry Field complaining that, hey, if I'm not fouled, at least give me the ball back, because there was some type of contact going in for the dunk, but a nice bit of offensive trickery on the part of Johnny Dawkins. He knows this guy, Landry Fields, is denied. He sends him back door. Almost got the benefit at the other end.
Manello sticks a 3, and that's an auspicious start for Oak State here in the second half.
Obi Manella, and he can do that. He can knock down that 3-point shot. A high school teammate of Epe Udo of Baylor, Santa Fe, Oklahoma, Santa Fe High School, Edmonds, Oklahoma.
Green contested 3. Loose ball, and it's going to be Oklahoma State.
And I can imagine the halftime speech of Oklahoma State coach Travis Ford. Look, guys, we got a 5-point lead. We let them back in the game. We got to come out here, establish the toughness quotient right off the start. That's not how you do it, Marshall Moses, with the pivot dragging travel play. But he wants his team, I think, to really play aggressive at both, attack the offensive glass, pick them up defensively, get up in their shirts, make it tough for them on it to advance the ball. If you're Ray Penn defending Jared Mann right here, look at it. Just bumping, cutting him off, make it turn his back. You get a guard turning his back 3 times before he gets to midcourt. You've done your job.
Try to drop it down for Fields. Fields finally controls it, now kicks it out. Mann puts it on the floor, goes baseline to the hoop.
Jared Mann struggled with his medium range to long range jump shot and free throws in this game. but he does a nice job, second consecutive time, finding the basket, going to the basket hard, finding the rim.
A little clear out for the moment for Anderson. Now Page. They jump out on Page.
A little flex action on the part of Oklahoma State. A lot of flex baseline screens.
Little jump hook by Moses, and it won't go. Coming off his best night ever at Arkansas Pine Bluff. He's been bageled tonight. And they're going to get Penn on the push. He's going to say no, but that was a full takedown.
Yeah, well, and he threw the forearms out is what he did. I mean, right there, nice job. Trotter with the surprise screen, and Penn kind of extends the forearm to knock him down. But
yeah, you can see Penn bodying man up, just kind of being a pest. Fields jump hook, a little soft off the window. Manello the rebound.
And good defensive job by James Anderson against Landry Fields, forces him into a tough shot.
Here's Anderson. He got a good look for three.
And Johnny Dawkins, his staff, they thought Keaton Page traveled on that play. A little quick shuffle of the feet before he delivered that pass. May have gotten away with one. Stanford needs to generate some consistent offense to stay in contact. Oklahoma State on the verge of trying to blow this thing open.
Landry Fields struggling just a little bit.
Yeah, he misses the last 4 shots in a row, and give the defense a lot of credit. A lot of challenges inside. They're bodying him up. There's that little bit of a travel play on the part of Keaton Page. And Anderson, you can't give him that wide open up a look.
The lead man decides to pass up that shot.
Ray Penn gives him about a 4-foot cushion, just begging him to take a jump shot.
Instead, he takes it to the basket, comes up short. The follow is good with the left hand.
And to his credit, Jared Mann hanging tough. I mean, he's struggling. He knows it. He knows everybody else knows it. He knows everybody else is watching it. So instead of getting self-conscious and shutting down, he's doing what has been successful, and that's finding ways to score in the interior.
Manello, the pull-up. And Oak State comes out of the gate shooting well here in the second half.
He shook Andrew Zimmermann back to Utzberg on that play.
Yes, on his heels.
He had him collapsing.
Now Fields going to back it out.
Just too many orange shirts for him to be effective right now with the basketball. Just too much orange going on at that area of the floor. They get Marshall Moses on the foul call. He didn't agree with it. That's his third.
They're going to call a foul on Moses.
You got to give him more of an area to work. He pass, get it back, but you look at that, just orange shirts all around in help position, really nowhere to go, and not a lot of contact on it for Marshall Moses to pick up that third foul.
No, I'll say Moses might have had a pretty good argument there. Oklahoma State now with 4 players with 3 fouls. Penn has 3, Pilgrim 3, Franklin 3, and Moses 3. Page just couldn't control himself there.
Yeah, and then good job, Jeremy Green, shot fake. I mean, you try and get into your offensive opponent's rhythm as a defensive player. That's what Page did. He wasn't trying to block a shot, but he knows Green can elevate, so he's trying to get up there just to bother the shot. And comes down, lands right on the neck of Jeremy Green.
4th team foul in the first 3.5 minutes of the second half.
Oklahoma State, much like the first half, which if Stanford could have did a better job of converting free throws in that first half, just 5 for 12 from the free throw line. It was a lot tighter basketball game.
So Jeremy Green at the free throw line. And Stanford continuing to struggle at the line.
67% for the season, so that's an area of concern for Johnny Dawkins.
But tonight,
just 5 for 13, 6 for 14 now for the Stanford Cardinals.
Manello brings Zimmermann out with him. Page up top, and they're going to come out and guard him. Manello lost his man on the screen, but can't bury it. Anderson right there for the follow.
Yeah, a good solid defensive possession by Stanford, but a nice job of patience and working it around Keaton Page could have forced up a shot or two, but he worked it around for a better shot. Obi Manello got that shot to get great offensive rebound position.
Back to a 10-point lead now. Mann will take it all the way, and he's going to draw the foul on Anderson. Good job by Mann that time.
James Anderson saying, hey, look, I'm a jump shooter, but I'm a scorer also. When you're a scorer, you find ways to score. Nice job, no block out. Finishes off the play.
Let's see, that is Saturday. You can see what the Stanford women have done. Pretty impressive. Tara Vanderveer, we talked about the two coaches in that game. Pat Summitt, Tara Vanderveer. A lot of experience, a lot of great coaching ability.
Jared Mann finally getting off the schneid, his first make after 4 free throw tries. And that does wonders for your confidence, especially when you shoot 52%, especially when you're the point guard with the ball in your hands.
Comes up a little short on the second. That's been his problem so far this year. Dick Davey was trying to work on him yesterday in practice. We're trying to get him to bend a little bit more at the knees.
Nice flex cut action on a part of Oklahoma State. Back screen, then you get a down screen. And that leads into some motion as the shot clock winds down.
Gonna get a grab foul. They got Mann on that foul. And Drew Schiller will come back into the Stanford lineup, and Jarrett Mann will leave. Been a tough night so far for him.
And Andrew Fields picks up that 3rd foul. So now if you're Oklahoma State, again, coaches don't really like to alter the personality of their team and then do isolations and then try and get that 4th foul. But man, you got a James Anderson put the ball in his hands. He's got to be aggressive attacking.
As you said earlier, unusual for Fields to be in foul trouble. Pilgrim misses the 3, and Fields with the rebound.
And how much more would that secure your case in this game if you're Oklahoma State? If you can get Landry Fields out of the game for a stretch here late in the second half.
Fields picked up by Anderson, double clutch, and Pilgrim rejects it. Anderson coming the other way. Anderson one-on-one with Schiller. Now Stanford gets help.
That's the second time Matt Pilgrim has done a nice job on the weak side shot blocking effort. First time it was Jack Trotter coming in. That time Landry Fields.
Manello coming baseline. Kick out for Gully. Gully lead for Anderson. Tough 3, and he gets it.
Again, Landry Fields 3 fouls. You got to be careful on your closeout. You can't close out as aggressively. James Anderson, aware of that, gives him just a little bit more time to get a bead on the bucket.
Anderson with 22. Fields standing J, a little short. Manello comes away with it. Ahead to Anderson. Anderson 1-on-2 all the way. And a travel.
Mark Reisling, the official, takes away the bucket, but that finish was a thing of beauty. The setup may have been a bit flawed, but the finish was a masterpiece.
Landry Fields has now missed his last 6 shots, and he's 0 for 4 here in the second half.
And a couple of those, the dunk attempt that I thought was deflected, the shot blocked by Matt Pilgrim.
Schiller misses a 3, 1 only. Pilgrim comes out of there with it. Now Page blows by Schiller. Kick out for Manello, open Trey.
That's a great find by Keaton Page. Keaton Page at 5'9", the 2 guard, doesn't want to play the point guard role, but you could have fooled me on that one. Great job setting up his teammate.
And again, still cannot find it. It's got to be psychological, I would think, huh?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it is. And again, to miss those 2 big ones against Kentucky, that could have possibly sealed the deal. More than likely sealed that deal, help you upset the number 5 team in the country. That doesn't help.
Jarrett Mann just 1 of 7. 2 of 8. This Oklahoma State team seems to have all the elements of being a pretty darn good basketball team.
Yeah, a very good team last year. Also, I mean, it's a Travis Ford style of basketball team. Great movement on offense, tough defense.
Turnover here. Here's Mann in the middle, leave it for Zimmermann on the wing, and Zimmermann bounces almost off the side of the backboard.
So now with
Stanford will get another chance here. We'll take a timeout. Oklahoma State 53, the Stanford Cardinal 41. We're coming back.
Sports Network was the one lifeline to what was going on. We go to the Army base in Aviano, Italy, and watch Duke and Wake Forest when that shot was hit by Tate George to pull that game out. So, yeah, I understand how important the American Forces Network is from personal experience.
And we're glad to be with him. Jeremy Green lights it up from 3.
Another great job of executing on the inbounds play. And then that's kind of a lost art. We talk about mid-range jump shots and feeding the post as being lost arts, but aggressively looking to score on inbounds plays. Johnny Dawkins has done a nice job taking advantage of that.
And the Cardinal just not going away. Long 3 by Manello. He's got another one.
Obi Manello, the strong body, looked like he could be a future NFL tight end out of Edmonds, Oklahoma, Santa Fe High School, but he has got that kind of range, especially when he gets in a groove, and he is officially in a groove this evening.
No question. 13 points in the second half from Manello. Long tray with the answer by Green.
Well, see, this is one of the silver linings in this cloud with no Landry Fields. That other guys have got to step up if you want to have a chance to just stay in contact. It's going to force Jeremy Green and some of these other guys, Jared Mann, to be more aggressive.
Still a long way to go, just under 11 minutes remaining. Stanford on a 9-3 run since Fields left with the 4 fouls. Anderson all the way to the basket, draws a foul, count the basket.
So you know where he learned that move. That's summertime. His dad, who worked at San Quentin Prison, he'd come out and spend the summers with him, play against the old heads at the health club, 24-hour fitness centers, and get out there and just beat him up and beat him down. But he's used to the contact. He handled it exceptionally well as a 13-year-old. And that kind of gets you prepared for this kind of stage and this kind of contact.
Did a great job protecting with the body, drawing the foul, making the basket.
He sought out the contact. A lot of guys would have shied away from the contact and tried to do a little foo-foo cute move inside and come away empty-handed. But he went and sought out the contact.
Nothing foo-foo and cute about him.
No.
He leaves with 25 and might be cramping a little bit. He goes over to the sideline to get his legs stretched.
Here are the 2 defenders running at Jared Mann. They're back to this again. Nice job, Travis Ford, to kind of put it on ice for a while. Now he's back into that trapping of the guard out top. And it leads to
offensive foul against Zimmermann.
And you got Andrew Zimmermann playing out of character. As you see James Anderson, I'm not sure if it's a contact kind of an injury or if it's just a cramp.
See him taking some liquid. He doesn't appear to be in any great pain.
No.
That was the first turnover for the Cardinal in the last 10 minutes. Manello steps in. A rare miss for him in the second half. Green with the rebound for the Cardinal. They head to Mann. What a pick by Zimmermann. Mann cannot convert, but Penn ran right into Zimmermann.
And Penn letting Zimmermann know his displeasure. Wow. Yeah, and that, I thought that was an illegal screen set by Zimmermann. I don't think he was set. I thought he kind of stuck that shoulder a little bit in the pin. You got to be on top of that if you're the officials, because that's a play that can hurt you.
He went down hard.
Yeah, I mean, blindsided. I mean, you're talking head injury, neck injuries, all kinds of things that can go wrong.
Mann gets the roll this time. Wasn't pretty, but he'll take it. Pilgrim got to go back into the ballgame with 4 fouls, and Moses leaves. Moses has been very quiet tonight, but that's what Travis Ford told us yesterday. He's always had 1 or 2 guys play their A game and 3 or 4 guys play their D game.
Well, yeah, but you know what that substitution was all about. Marshall Moses didn't communicate to Ray Penn that screen was coming. I heard Travis Ford, we picked it up on the mic, saying somebody's going to get hurt out there. But, as a big man, you've got to be up on top of the play and protect your little guys.
So Manello comes behind the Pilgrim screen. Now Page, tough tray. This is off the right side, but it's chased down by Pilgrim. Good hustle play.
Yeah, tough shot, Keaton Page. You're sandwiched between 2 defenders contesting your shot. So he had to contort his body in midair just to get that shot off at 5'9". Stanford crowd trying to pick this team up.
Again, good ball movement, but flicked away from behind by Drew Schiller. 3-on-3. Schiller's tripped on his way to the basket. No call. Picked up by Manello. Now 4-on-1. Pilgrim to Penn, and Penn can't hang on to it out of bounds.
4-on-1. You've got to give the basketball up to Ray Penn, the point guard, as that first pass. Let him find Matt Pilgrim for the layup, as opposed to what they did there trying to execute the fast break. Put it into Matt Pilgrim's hand, the big guy, and try and let him make a play 15 feet away from the basket, coming down full speed. Just not happening.
I tell you, there's a little woofing going on out here right now, too.
Yeah. Well, Ray Penn, you know, he's a tough one. He's out there. He thinks he's got just cause because of the hard screen set. And Travis Ford had his conversation with his big Marshall Moses. Now he's got him back up at the scorer's table to check back in.
3-on-2, Manello, offensive foul. And that's going to be the 4th on Manello. Good job by Zimmermann to get the foot down.
And Travis Ford complaining because he didn't think Zimmermann was set. He's retreating, going backwards as he get the feet set. I mean, that's not a bad job. I thought it may have been more of a blocking type situation, but it looked like Zimmermann got back, got set, took the contact.
So Manello will leave. Top now, man. Worked on by Penn. Penn's done a really nice job. Man.
A lot of baseline screens.
And another turnover. And this is getting pretty sloppy right now.
Yeah, Jared Mann, he's got to do a better job. He's under duress. He's being pressured. But you're the point guard out here. You're averaging 6 assists a game. You've done a great job taking care of the basketball. You're going to see a lot more of this based on the results that have happened in this game during the course of the Pac-10 season.
I'm going to get a push away from the ball. Called on Trotter. There's the 5th team foul.
Good defense, Stanford. A couple of ball screens. Nice job, weak side help. No place to go for Page or Penn.
So Penn going to back it out, start the offense again.
Another ball screen.
10 on the shot clock, still time. Page backs it out, got the bigger Trotter on him, and still pulls the trigger. Missed the shot off the left side. Green the rebound for Stanford.
Good defense, 5 ball screens. That's the best shot they get out of the possession. Excellent defensive possession by the Stanford Cardinals.
Jeremy Green behind the screen, can't get the shot off. Green knocks it down. Great shot. Difficult.
Yeah, I liked him last year just to be able to not only shoot, but shoot contested shots and knock them down. And that little dribble between the leg move to create some space was outstanding.
And Green has picked up the slack with the absence of Landry Fields. He's got 10 in the second half, 17 in the ballgame.
Yeah, it's a growth game for Jeremy Green, the sophomore, with no Landry Fields out there to lean on.
And again, the Cardinal just not going away. Pull up. Bounces around and finally drops down for Roger Franklin. As much as he does, and an 85% free throw shooter. That's not bad.
Those are bonus points. He's got a lot going on. Dad and cousins and about 4 or 5 cousins all drove down for this game. So he has not disappointed.
No, I'll say. Green.
That's nice. Boy, this
Sure
kid.
Was.
He's got a jumper. He's got a jumper that can make him a lot of money. The way he elevates, moves without the basketball. You know, he just needs to be a little bit more aggressive and then taking things into his own hands offensively.
Long 3 for Manello, and he has been a stick out in the second half. 16 in the second half.
Obi-Wan Manello. Man, that play was designed to get him coming off a down screen, to put some more pressure on Landry Fields with the 4 fouls.
Green again, long 3. Not this time. Rebound Zimmermann. Now Schiller will back it out. They'll start the offense again.
Back screen and popping on the part of Stanford.
Drop it down to Fields again. Off the baseline, it won't go, but it'll go to the free throw line. And Anderson still flexing that right knee, still cramping up.
Yeah, rubbing that hamstring on the back of the right leg. But he's trying to tough it out. You know, it's still just a 10-point lead, a lot of time left. And you got the official, Bill Kennedy, astutely kind of noticing what's going on, asking does he need to have that looked at.
Yeah, veteran officiating crew in this game, incidentally. Mark Reichling, you talked about him, Mike Evers, Billy Kennedy. These guys have been around the track a little bit.
Good common sense crew. That's what I like about them.
You're right. That's Billy Kennedy. So Landry Fields at the free throw line. He's had to earn everything he's gotten tonight. Can't get it to go. Very uncharacteristic of a Stanford team to not shoot it well at the free throw line.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage of the game, obviously they need all those.
Just 10 of 22. That's not going to get it done. Penn tried to leave it that time. Stepping in front was Zimmermann. Now 2-on-1. Fields on the wing to the basket.
Need a couple of more defensive stops if you're Stanford. This is going to be tough to do the way Manello is shooting the ball, the quickness of Penn as the guard, the rebounding of Moses, and of course the always lurking James Anderson out there on the floor running off of 2 and 3 screens at a time.
It's that Moses trying to post up, draws a crowd. Penn, long tray. Long rebound is knocked away from behind by Schiller, and he saves it nicely for Green. Schiller doing all those little things tonight.
Schiller has thrown his body around, made the hustle plays, hasn't shot the ball like we've been accustomed to him shooting it this season at 53% three-pointers made.
Reverse that time, going to the basket by Mann.
Just run it through Landry Fields. Good things happen for your basketball offensively. Stanford within 7.
They've been there a few times, but unable to get inside of that. Well, Sunday, it's an ACC Sunday Night Hoops doubleheader. First, it's their first conference showdown of the season. Florida State looks to shut down number 22 Georgia Tech, and then North Carolina State collides with Wake Forest. Both teams battle for early season ACC supremacy. Action tipping off at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific. Florida State, Georgia Tech, North Carolina State, and Wake.
Right here at this stage of the game, Barry, this is when your assistant coaches really earn their money. I mean, you go to them and what do you think they're going to do? What do you think they're going to run? I mean, you know, James Anderson, some kind of ISO on the right side of the floor. It's worked for him with him going to his left. I mean, Obi Manello coming off of some kind of a down screen, looking to shoot his jump shot. You might want to switch that. This is the time when you maybe adjust and try something a little differently defensively. Come out the zone. Maybe throw a 1-2-2 with Landry Fields at the top of the key just to give him an entirely different look.
Yeah, it's a really critical time in the game right here. 3:36 remaining, 7-point game. Cowboys with the basketball. Stanford going to show some pressure.
To come out with something, give him something different. Give him a different look. Aggressive trapping pressure in the backcourt. I love this move by Johnny Dawkins. Don't know how it's going to turn out, obviously, but you roll the dice and you gamble.
Well, they got it ahead to Anderson over Zimmermann, short. Good no call, I thought that time. Now Cardinal with a chance to get as close as they've been in a long time. Open tray, Green can't get it. And a rebound to Moses, and a big one.
Yeah, that hurt. I mean, you know, that's the shot that you want in transition. Jeremy Green has been knocking down those shots the entire game from the three-point line. Just comes up a little bit short on that play.
Now Anderson. Anderson for 3. Halfway down, came out, Fields the rebound, and again the Cardinal with an opportunity.
Yeah, Jared Mann almost a major mistake going underneath. Nice dribble move. Wow, that's a move there, Barry. That's inside-out action, baby, right there by Landry Fields.
20 for Fields, an 8-0 run for the Cardinal, and just like that, a 5-point ball game with 2:25 remaining to be played.
It comes from those 3-hour sessions in a hot, sweaty gym, just working on your handle, getting that piece with your handle.
Green got a hand on the ball, knocked it out of bounds. Cowboys will have it with 19 seconds remaining on the shot clock. When we come back, 67 Oak State, 62 Stanford. Landry Fields dazzling the house. We're coming back.
That's just in a hot gym. You're going against a cone 50, 60, 70 times in a row doing that inside-out move because you know at some point during the season you're going to have to call on it. He called on it, and it was there for him because he has worked on it and prepared for this moment.
Fourth double-double of the year, 20 points, 10 boards for Fields, and as good as he's gone, so too as the other guy we talked about at the top of this program, and that is James Anderson. He's got 25 points in the ball game and has been playing with cramps for about the last 5 minutes.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to find, Kyle Singler, obviously, a Duke. I'm just thinking of the skilled point forwards. These two guys are just highly skilled point forwards, scoring 28 and 20 and making it look easy.
Manello pull up, and
Nice.
he's got another. He's come up big in the second half.
He has been the guy. I mean, we talked about Anderson, Fields putting up their points. Who was going to step up? Well, for Oklahoma State, Obi Manello has done a terrific job.
Yeah, 18 in the second half, 20 in the ball game. Fields, the runner, nice lead. Zimmermann, the finish. Credit Landry Fields.
That's a tough pass and a tough catch by Zimmermann on the inside, but that comes from Zimmermann.
And a costly turnover right here by the Cowboys.
And Manello turned his head just as Ray Penn, the point guard, give that turnover to Penn. You've got to be aware of that. Manello was not looking when that pass was delivered. You're never supposed to turn your back on the basketball, but when you do, you don't want your guard, your point guard, passing the ball to that guy not looking at the basketball.
16th turnover of the ball game for the Cowboys, none bigger than that one. Stanford within 5, 1 minute and 43 seconds, plenty of time, clock not yet a factor. But as you said earlier, Obi Manello is the guy who has really stepped up in the second half, particularly for Oak State.
Yeah, nice job knocking down jump shots. Obi Manello, real confident. And this was a big play because that was the 4th foul on Landry Fields, taking it hard to the basket. And then they're creating space, using those strong shoulders, that strong upper body to bounce the defender away to create some space from the free throw line.
You can see the difference between first half and second half for Obi Manello. And it's really exactly what Travis Ford was telling us yesterday. He's always had somebody other than James Anderson step up, and tonight it's Manello.
Yeah, I mean, between the two of them, Manello and Anderson. Manello 18 points, Anderson 14 in the second half, 32 of Oklahoma State's 34 second half points. That's crazy.
That tells you everything you need to know. And as we said earlier, Stanford just kind of hanging around. They don't belong here, but they're here.
And more than hanging around now, I mean, they're a threat to do some damage if they can continue to score. And how do you continue to score? To me, you continue. I was going to say to give the ball to Landry Fields.
Nice save by Fields, but it's going to be out of bounds to Oklahoma State.
But in fairness to Jeremy Green, Johnny Dawkins drew up a great play, a little double screen at the free throw line. He got him a nice look from 20 feet straight on. He just did not come through and knock down the shot.
2 opportunities like that for Green in the last couple of minutes.
And that's what has to happen.
Man got a hand on that ball. Now they get it ahead, and they'll back it out. Moses had Anderson on the wing if he wanted him, and a reach-in foul. Got to call a foul on Jarrett Mann.
Yeah, that's not a bad foul by Stanford based on the free throw shooter. Marshall Moses, who put the big guy at the line, he's just 64% from the season and hasn't had a lot of offensive rhythm and touches and shots at the basket tonight. That's even more important of a factor.
Yeah, in fact, he's only had 2 shots in the ballgame, missed them both. Yeah. That coming on the heels of a 10 of 11 shooting night.
Right, so I can see Johnny Dawkins and his staff saying, look, when Marshall Moses touches the basketball, grab him. If Matt Pilgrim touches the basketball, grab him.
And Moses obliges by missing. Fields with the rebound for the Cardinals. Clock still not a big factor, 1:16 remaining. Fields had a good look. Now he steps in, leaves for Zimmermann, and Zimmermann scores.
That's Landry Fields making it happen, drawing the orange-shirted defenders, leaving the big guys open. That time Zimmermann, the recipient of a nice feed from Landry Fields.
That's a career high for Zimmermann. He's got 12. Jared Mann, despite a tough night, has a career-high 10 for Stanford.
I'm telling you, these bigs from Stanford are just bothersome enough. That's a good offensive play.
Sure is.
They're just bothersome enough to make an impact on this game.
And that was exactly the right call. He got him with the off arm. There was no question about it.
A great position. Now, you can be moving on the perimeter and still pick up an offensive foul. A lot is determined by which area of your body you take that hit. He takes it right square in the chest, solar plexus area. That's a good call by the official.
So the Cardinal now with an opportunity to get within one or tie. Stanford just 4 of 16 beyond the arc in this game. Not necessary by any means to go for 3 here.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to, obviously. You got too much time left to even think about that. Now, you know, if you're Johnny Dawkins, he's actually drawn up a couple of plays for Jeremy Green to get a nice look at the basket, and he hadn't converted. So now, do you roll the dice and say, okay, he's missed 2, maybe I go back to him? And he's missed 3 threes in a row at this point. Do you have enough confidence in him that you know that he is not that kind of a shooter where he's going to miss 4 in a row? Or do you do what I would do, the somewhat sure thing?
Take it to the basket.
We'll get it to Landry Fields and let him make a play. And he's going to make a play for somebody. Whether they score or not, that remains to be seen.
About 12 seconds differential between game clock, shot clock. Zimmermann scores. 1-point game.
That time a little slip action. Landry Fields screen, then he got a flare screen from Zimmermann, but Zimmermann slipped that screen and got a nice wide open look. So great job by the coaching staff of Stanford to tweak and adjust that offensive play.
A 12-2 run for the Stanford Cardinal, and now the object just played defense.
And that's Zimmermann. It sets the screen at the free throw line. The defender bites on the flare screen for Landry Fields coming to his left. So there's 2 defenders going that way, wide open down the middle for the big guy.
And that is our Toyo Tires driven to perform.
And that's something that the coaching staff picks up on. Like, look, we set the flare screen. Rodney Tension, you see right there in the middle of your screen. Arizona assistant for Lute Olson for a number of years. Arizona used to live on that flare screen. So I know he brought that influence into Johnny Dawkins and the way they run offense. So look, coach, they are hedging on that flare screen. They're going with Landry Fields. We can slip Zimmermann in there and get him a good look, and they did.
14 in the ball game, a career high. We were talking about when the right time to bring Landry Fields back. They brought him back at 6:55. Obviously, that was the right time because Stanford has scored 16 points since he's been back.
And we're playing. They outscored Oklahoma State 14-8 with Landry Fields on the bench. They were down 53-38 with him out of the game. But great gamble move by Johnny Dawkins that they increased the pressure on the backcourt of Oklahoma State.
There's a 2-second difference between game clock and shot clock.
And Stanford is aggressively attacking and trapping the basketball. And they want a foul, and you know, Ray Penn, not a bad guy to foul. Freshman, 82% free throw shooter, but again, the operative word, freshman.
And Penn has not scored in the ball game. Has not been to the free throw line. 0 for 3 from the field, and a lot to ask of a first-year player on the road.
He's a tough one. A tough player out of the Houston area, where's number 14, because DJ Augustine lit him up for 35, and DJ Augustine was a senior. He wore number 14. He says, I hate to admit this.
And he calmly knocks it down.
I hate to admit this, but I love DJ Augustine. You don't hear college players give it up like that, but yeah, it knocks down a real clutch free throw in this situation. Gives you an idea of the mental toughness of this young man.
18.4 seconds remaining in the game. Gets them both. Calmly got them both.
Rim resistant, no metal whatsoever in those shots.
Still not absolutely necessary for the Cardinal to shoot 3 here.
Stanford's got a couple of timeouts left, so.
Anderson has just picked up his 4th personal foul. Sends Landry Fields to the line. Still 12 seconds left in the game.
Now with the timeouts left, if you're Johnny Dawkins, I mean, I think you have to call a timeout if he makes these free throws, makes the second free throw in particular. But
after being 0 for 2, pretty good one to make right there. Makes it a 2-point ball game with 12 ticks remaining.
I think he got a call. I mean, obviously, 1 for 3 for this game is not a given, but if Landry Fields knocks this down,
which he does,
got to call that timeout, set your defense up.
Well, heroes have been numerous, really, for both teams. We talked about Manella for Oak State. How about Andrew Zimmermann for Stanford?
You know, I'm liking Andrew Zimmermann. He's done a nice job from Oostburg, Wisconsin, of just kind of finding the gaps, kind of playing within himself, not trying to do too much. He's made some great plays defensively, just getting in the way, picking up offensive fouls, and just made a nuisance of himself like you're supposed to do as a big.
What was that lake again?
That big lake.
That big old lake.
Yeah, Lake.
It starts with an M. I know it.
Yeah, Lake Marcus. No, Lake Michigan.
Here's the story now. 1 timeout remaining for each team. Double bonus situation for the Cardinal.
12 seconds left. You're down 1 if you're Stanford, so you got a foul. Now, obviously, Oklahoma State, you want to get the ball into the hands of a Keaton Page or Ray Penn based on what happened there. So you need all, and James Anderson, obviously an excellent free throw shooter for Oklahoma State at 85%. So it's all out denial on those 3. You're begging Marshall Moses to catch this inbounds pass.
So you're playing for a steal here and a foul, I think, before the inbounds pass.
And that's a tough break for Stanford because you had them in a situation where you had great denial on the 3 guys we talked about. I mean, Anderson was denied. You know, and here comes. I didn't see. That's tough to see on that angle, but Moses was going to be the guy who was going to be the last outlet left before that whistle was blown.
I think they called it on Zimmermann away from the ball.
Yeah, he held Page from behind.
And Page misses the free throw, and Zimmermann clears. Got to hurry.
Got
8 seconds. Timeout. With 6.4 and a 1-point ball game.
Could have scripted it. Well, you could have scripted it better. You could have be up by 20. But if you got to be in this situation, this is a great opportunity now to put the ball in the hands of, I think, one of the best point forwards in the country in Landry Fields. He's shown that tonight. And just let him do his thing, whether it's drawing defenders to kick for an open shooter or taking a shot himself.
Stanford has not led in this ball game since 6-4. That was a long time ago.
And you know, if they can pull this game out, whether they pull it out or not, it's just a great testament to their resilience. Look at Drew Schiller. You think he's got coaching in his future?
No question. He wants to be a broadcaster, Drew Schiller.
No, coaching guy, coaching. But you know, I think Landry Fields, you give it to him 6 seconds. I mean, you almost got to get it to him right away near the top of the key. Spread your shooters out on the floor toward the baseline, and then he puts it on the floor trying to make something happen.
Oklahoma State led this game by 15. Landry Fields went out with his 4th foul. Since he's come back, it has been all Stanford, and now the Cardinal has an opportunity to win this basketball game with 6.4 ticks left. Certainly they'll try to get the ball in Landry Fields' hands, but Landry's not been shy about giving it up if he has to.
And that's what Oklahoma State, I think what they will do, conversely, is try and deny and switch everything so you don't allow Landry Fields to touch the basketball. But now he's going to take it out and get it back. This is a good play by Johnny Dawkins.
Stanford out of timeouts.
I think you get it. You know, timeout for Stanford. You get it to Zimmermann or Mann, and then give it back to him. Would be the play in this situation.
They're trying to get the coaching staff of Oak State to sit down.
And Zimmerman's got an outlet. He doesn't have to go down and down screen for Jared Mann.
They get it into Zimmermann.
Gets it back.
Zimmermann puts it on the floor, puts it up off the window too hard, rebound to Pilgrim, and this game is over. Probably not the shot that Johnny Dawkins had drawn up.
Yeah, I mean, he was supposed to get the basketball back. James Anderson did a pretty decent job of keeping Landry Fields away from the ball. Zimmermann thought he was fouled, but you're not going to get that call in this situation. And you know, good job by Travis Ford to put the other rebounder in there. Hey, look at the bump. There's a bump there. You know, time winding down. Zimmermann, I thought, maybe panicked a little bit. Didn't think he had it. Thought he had less time than he had on the clock.
They went down, posted Landry Fields